New York City is bursting with energy, iconic sights, and unique experiences that cater to every kind of traveler. From towering skyscrapers to quaint neighborhoods, here are some of the best things to do in New York City in 20 minutes or less. We visited and compiled every spot on this list during our summer we spent in New York City, and you can get a map of all the spots on the Patreon. Also, these are very well known. For less touristy spots, check out the other videos in the description and let us know what we left off in the comments. First up, New York City is home to countless famous tourist attractions. Here are some of the must-visit spots that make the city an unforgettable destination. Central Park is the crown jewel of Manhattan, offering miles of paths to walk, run, and bike. You can rent a rowboat, visit the iconic Belvedere Castle, or relax and people watch next to Bethesda Fountain. It's the perfect escape from the city's hustle with something new around every corner and which you could explore for months without seeing it all. Next up, DUMBO, which is short for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass, is a charming area with cobblestone streets and stunning views of the Brooklyn Bridge. Grab a coffee at a local cafe and head to the waterfront for an iconic photo of the Manhattan Bridge with the Empire State Building perfectly framed in it. Don't miss Jane's Carousel for a nostalgic ride, and head to the top of the Time Out Market for this shot if you're a Beastie Boys fan. Next up, Times Square is one of the most overwhelming spots in New York City, packed day to night with blinding neon lights, street performers, and swarms of tourists. It's a bit exhausting if you ask me, but of course it's an iconic spot in New York and something you need to experience while in the city. Plus, if you're a night owl, stay up to midnight to see the Midnight Moment, one of the largest digital art displays in the world. Next up, Battery Park is located on the southern tip of Manhattan, offers beautiful waterfront views, and is the gateway to the Statue of Liberty. If you have kids, you can check out the playgrounds, visit the Sea Glass Carousel, or simply watch the boats go by. It's also an ideal spot to begin your trip to Liberty Island. The Statue of Liberty is one of the most iconic symbols of freedom, standing tall in the New York harbor. You can take a ferry to Liberty Island, climb the pedestal, or even climb to the crown if you're able to get tickets. If not, you can walk around the island, take in the views, and explore the museum. It's a powerful and humbling experience that embodies the spirit of America. After leaving the Statue of Liberty, stop at Ellis Island, which is usually included with the same ferry ticket. Ellis Island is where millions of immigrants first set foot in America, and the museum offers a deep dive into their stories. Walk the Great Hall, explore the exhibits, and even look up your own family's immigration records. Next up, Governor's Island is a quick ferry ride from Manhattan and offers expansive green spaces, historical buildings, and some of the best views of the Statue of Liberty. You can rent a bike, explore the forts, or take in some of the art installations. It's the perfect day trip for anyone looking for a little break from the city without going too far. Following that, the Oculus, located near the World Trade Center, is more than just a transit hub, it's a piece of stunning modern architecture. Inside you'll find a shopping mall, places to grab food, and great photo opportunities thanks to its striking white rib structure. If you're visiting the 9/11 Memorial, which we'll discuss later, then you have to stop by and see this. The Highland is a unique elevated park built on a former railway line on the west side of Manhattan. It's packed with greenery, art, and great city views looking up. Take a leisurely walk and enjoy the flowers, sculptures, and food vendors along the way. It's a great way to see the city and a fun spot for a nice walk away from the cars. Rockefeller Center is a must-see for both its iconic architecture and seasonal activities. In the winter, go ice skating under the giant Christmas tree or just get into the holiday spirit. In the summer, you can relax by the giant statue, visit one of the food vendors, or go to the top of the rock observation deck, among other things like the NBC Studios. NBC Studios offers guided tours where you can see behind the scenes of iconic shows like Saturday Night Live. Nearby, Radio City Music Hall is famous for its Art Deco design and legendary Rockettes. Catch a show or take a guided tour to soak up the glamour of New York's entertainment world. Next, head out to Coney Island, which is a classic New York experience with its vintage amusement park, boardwalk, and beach. You can ride the famous Cyclone roller coaster, eat a hot dog at Nathan's, or stroll along the beach. In the summer, it's a perfect escape from the city heat and it's accessible via public transit. The Vessel, which is located in Hudson Yards, is a stunning honeycomb-like structure offering great views from its interconnected staircases. Visitors can climb up its mini flights for a unique perspective on the city skyline. Note that the interior has been closed for a few years and you can only look at the exterior right now, but it's still cool to see. It's one of the more modern attractions that combines art, architecture, and adventure. Prospect Park in Brooklyn is a lush escape created by the same designers behind Central Park. It offers a serene lake, a zoo, and endless paths for biking or walking. It's ideal for picnics with wide open spaces and quiet corners that make you forget you're in the middle of New York City. If you have kids, the splash pad is also amazing during the summer. Brooklyn Heights Promenade offers spectacular views of the Manhattan skyline, the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Statue of Liberty. Right below it, you can go kayaking at Brooklyn Bridge Park for free during select nights throughout the summer. It's a fantastic way to enjoy the East River, so if you're interested, look up the dates as you do have to get a reservation in advance. The Staten Island Ferry is one of the best free activities in New York, offering fantastic views of the Statue of Liberty and the Manhattan skyline. The ferry runs 24/7 and is a great way to get out on the water without spending a dime and to visit some fun spots on Staten Island as well. Next up, Roosevelt Island offers a unique vantage point of Manhattan from the East River and is accessible via the Roosevelt Island Tramway. Visit the haunting Renwick ruins, stroll along the waterfront, or relax at Fort Freedom's Park. The tram ride alone is worth it for the fantastic views. Next up, check out some of the city's zoos. New York is home to several notable zoos, including the Bronx Zoo, one of the largest in the country, but they also have Central Park Zoo, which is a smaller, charming option in Manhattan, and Queens and Brooklyn have their own zoos as well. Each offers a different experience, whether you want to see exotic animals or enjoy a peaceful day surrounded by wildlife. Next up, Domino Park in Williamsburg is built on a former sugar refinery site and offers beautiful waterfront views. There are amazing playgrounds here for kids, fountains, and a taco stand for a relaxing afternoon by the river. It's also a great spot to watch the sunset over the Manhattan skyline. Chelsea Market is a food lover's dream, offering everything from fresh seafood to decadent desserts. Located in the meatpacking district, it's a perfect place to grab a bite or shop for gourmet ingredients. I highly recommend Los Tacos No. 1. As a Southern California resident, I found them to be the best tacos I've had outside of California. Next up, let's talk about observation decks, and New York City's observation decks offer some of the most breathtaking views you can get of the skyline. Here's a quick guide to each of them. First up, we have the Empire State Building, which offers one of the most classic observation experiences in New York. From its 86th floor deck, you get sweeping views of the city, making it easy to spot landmarks like Central Park and the Hudson River. The only thing missing from the skyline is getting to see the Empire State Building in it. Next up, Top of the Rock, which is located at Rockefeller Center, gives you an incredible view of Central Park and the Empire State Building. Unlike other observation decks, it offers a 3-level platform that provides unobstructed 360-degree views. It's an excellent spot for photographers, and it's probably one of the most iconic views in the entire city since it has the Empire State Building right in the center. Following that, Summit One Vanderbilt is the newest observation deck in New York City, offering a multi-sensory experience with mirrors, glass floors, and even art installations. The views are amazing, but adding the unique interior makes it feel like more of an adventure than some of the others. It's perfect if you're looking for something different than the classic observation deck, and it's especially great for small children as there's so much to see and it's not just the view. Lastly, at the top of One World Trade Center is the One World Observatory. This spot offers breathtaking views and is a touching look at the city's resilience. The ride up in the elevator is an experience in and of itself, with digital screens showing the transformation of New York City over the centuries. Once you make it to the top, you'll have a panoramic view of all 5 boroughs, and you can even see the Statue of Liberty from up there. Next, let's talk about New York City museums, as they are world-renowned and offer something for every type of cultural enthusiast. Here are a few of my favorites. First up, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or the Met, is a must-see for anyone interested in art and culture. Its extensive collection spans 5,000 years with masterpieces from all over the world. You could spend days exploring its halls and still not see everything. It's a true cultural treasure and the top museum in the city. Following that, the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, is home to some of the most famous pieces of modern art, including works by Picasso, Van Gogh, and Warhol. It's perfect for anyone who wants to see iconic works or experience ever-changing contemporary exhibits. MoMA is also centrally located, making it easy to fit into your day, and seeing Starry Night was worth the price of admission alone for me and one of the highlights of my time in the city. Next, the American Museum of Natural History is a must-visit for both kids and adults alike, with its massive dinosaur skeletons and fascinating exhibits. Here you'll find exhibits covering the wonders of the natural world from outer space to the depths of the ocean. Take advantage of the planetarium for an awe-inspired journey through the stars. It's another museum where you could spend hours or even a full day. Next, the Brooklyn Museum offers an eclectic mix of exhibits from ancient Egyptian artifacts to contemporary art. It's one of New York City's oldest museums, providing a unique blend of art, history, and culture. Take advantage of its rotating special exhibitions, which often focus on social issues and diverse cultural perspectives. Following that is the Guggenheim Museum, which is just as famous for its architecture as it is for its artwork. The building's spiraling ramps, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, make viewing art a unique experience. The collection includes everything from impressionist to contemporary art, and the space itself is a masterpiece to explore. There was actually less art than I anticipated, but just seeing the building up close was worth it. Next, head to the National Museum of the American Indian, which is housed in the historic Alexander Hamilton U.S. Customs House and offers fascinating exhibits on Native American cultures. Admission is free, and you can explore both contemporary and historical artifacts. It's an educational and often eye-opening visit, highlighting Indigenous peoples' history and resilience. Next, the Morgan Library and Museum is a hidden gem that features the personal library of financier J.P. Morgan. It's filled with rare manuscripts, old books, and even original scores of famous composers. The intricate decor, from ornate ceilings to walls of antique books, makes it a stunning visual experience. Following that, the National Lighthouse Museum on Staten Island celebrates the history of lighthouses and the men and women who maintained them. It offers excellent insight into maritime history with various exhibits on navigation and shipwrecks. It's a great stop if you're already taking the Staten Island ferry, but it's a little too small to make the trip to Staten Island just to see it. The New York City Transit Museum, located in a decommissioned subway station in Brooklyn, offers a fantastic look at the city's public transit history. You can explore vintage subway cars and learn about how the transit system has evolved over the years. It's an offbeat but engaging museum for anyone interested in how the city runs. The Museum of Broadway celebrates the history and magic of New York City's theater scene. It's perfect for theater lovers with costumes, set models, and interactive exhibits. Learn about the evolution of Broadway and some of the incredible stories behind some of the most beloved shows of all time. Lastly, we have the Queens Museum, which is home to the famous panorama of the city of New York, a detailed scale model of the entire city. It was built for the 1964 World's Fair, and seeing the whole city in miniature is nothing short of amazing. The museum also has exhibits that tell the story of two World's Fairs held in Flushing Meadows. I was glad I made the trip to visit this unique spot. Next up, let's talk about history, as New York City's history is rich and deeply woven into the fabric of America itself. Here are some of the historic highlights in New York City. First, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum is a profoundly moving tribute to those who lost their lives during the September 11th attacks. The twin reflecting pools sit where the original tower stood, surrounded by the names of the victims. Next to that is the museum, which tells the story of that day and the incredible acts of heroism and community that followed. It's just so well done that I cannot visit the museum without tearing up. Next up, Wall Street is the financial heartbeat of New York City, home to the New York Stock Exchange and the famous Charging Bull statue. If you want to take a picture with the bull, be prepared to wait. Here you can walk down the historic cobblestone streets and see the Federal Hall where George Washington took his presidential oath, and of course see the Fearless Girl statue, which is popular for photos. Next up, walking across the Brooklyn Bridge is a must-do with its stunning views of the Manhattan skyline and the East River. The pedestrian path gives you plenty of space to take in the sights and to stop and take photos. I recommend walking from Brooklyn to Manhattan, as the views of the city are much better going in that direction, and note that this is one of the busiest attractions of the city, so there'll always be a lot of people there. Following that, the Flatiron Building is one of New York City's most iconic architectural landmarks with its unique triangular shape. It's a great photo op, and the surrounding area, known as the Flatiron District, is filled with cool spots to explore. Madison Square Park is right nearby, offering a relaxing place to sit and enjoy views of the building, and which is home to the first Shake Shack. St. Patrick's Cathedral is a stunning example of neo-Gothic architecture located on Fifth Avenue. Step inside to admire its intricate stained glass windows, soaring arches, and peaceful atmosphere. It's one of the most beautiful churches in the country and is a must-visit in New York since it's incredibly ornate. On the other end of the spectrum, you have St. Paul's Chapel. This chapel is Manhattan's oldest surviving church and was a refuge for first responders during 9/11. The chapel, which survived the Great Fire of 1776, is a living piece of New York City history. Its interior is simple yet powerful, and the surrounding graveyard is worth a stroll. Grand Central Terminal is more than a transportation hub, it's a historic landmark with breathtaking architecture. Be sure to look up at the ceiling in the main concourse and check out the Whispering Gallery where you can hear whispers across the arch space. It's one of New York City's most iconic indoor spots, and I always love the energy you feel when you visit. Washington Square Arch is a gateway in Greenwich Village located in Washington Square Park. The park itself is always lively with street performers, chess players, and students. It's a fantastic spot for people watching with great views of the arch and the Empire State Building in the distance. Plus, it's just a cool part of the city to explore. The New York Public Library's main branch is an architectural masterpiece known for its grandeur and lion statues. One of the main highlights is the Polanski exhibition of the New York Public Library's treasures, which features the original Winnie the Pooh stuffed animals, beloved by children and adults alike, plus many other famous pieces that you can see for free. Next up, Fort Wadsworth is one of the oldest military forts in the country, located on Staten Island near the Verrazano Bridge. Take a guided tour or wander around on your own to explore its tunnels and bunkers. The fort offers fantastic views of the New York harbor and is steeped in history dating back to the American Revolution. Next up, let's talk about stores, as New York City is a shopper's paradise, offering everything from magical themed stores to luxury boutiques. Here are a few of my favorites. First up, the Harry Potter store in the Flatiron is a magical destination for any fan of the series. Spread across multiple floors, it offers themed merchandise, an interactive wand experience, and even butterbeer. It's a must-visit for Harry Potter fans. FAO Schwartz is an iconic toy store that has brought joy to kids and adults for decades. Located at Rockefeller Plaza, it features giant stuffed animals, interactive exhibits, and the famous giant piano that you can play with your feet. It's a nostalgic experience that's fun for the whole family. Following that, Fifth Avenue is New York City's most famous shopping street, lined with luxury brands like Gucci and Prada. Even if you're not buying, it's fun to window shop and take in the glamour of one of the most famous shopping districts in the world. On basically the opposite end, the Evolution store in Soho is a natural history themed shop filled with curiosities. From fossils to taxidermy and crystals, it's a fascinating place to browse for unique items. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it's a quirky experience that stands out from traditional New York City stores and is one of my favorite stores in the city. I have many different videos that talk about food, but I wanted to end this list by saying that no trip to New York is complete without trying the iconic pizza. Whether you're just grabbing a quick slice from a neighborhood joint or visiting famous spots like Joe's or Lombardi's, you'll quickly see why New York City pizza is legendary. Thin, foldable, and delicious, it's the quintessential New York City experience. And you can see all of my favorite pizza places in a video I made in the description. We made this list during the summer we spent in Brooklyn, and you can see all of the New York videos we made in the playlist here. Be sure to let us know what we left off in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.